Welcome back to Leveraging Leadership, where we unpack the art of business leadership. I'm your host, Emily Sander, Chief of Staff turned Executive Leadership Coach. This show is all about finding your points of greatest influence and leveraging them to better serve those around you. In this episode, I want to talk about how to take a nebulous concept or kind of a vague idea and tie it to a specific ask and a tangible outcome. So, as chiefs of staff, we're often talking about things like company culture and employee engagement and training. And all of those things are good, and we should be bringing them up in conversation and advocating for them. But very often in conversations, you'll get to a point, especially if you're asking for budget, where someone will go, "What exactly are you asking for? And if I approve that, what am I going to get?" And so being prepared to answer those follow up questions is a good way to streamline these conversations. So let's go with an example here. The nebulous concept is investing in people. So you might be sitting there as chief of staff saying, like, we really need to invest in our people more. So great idea. Yes, yes, very positive. And then follow that up with specifics. So maybe you've taken a look at the internal staff and you've identified 4 specific people who are key team members who you want to provide executive leadership coaching to. And so you've done the internal kind of review, like here's the 4 people. And then you've done the external research on here's some coaches or some coaching programs I think would fit our organization and these people really well. So I recommend to you, CEO, to you, principal, that we invest $40,000 for Mark, Cynthia, Rohit, and Damien to get executive leadership coaching. They are key team members. We see them as being future VPs and future C-suite leaders at this company. And we want to, 1, retain top talent, and 2, accelerate their growth in these areas. And with this investment, we expect a 15% increase in our 360 leadership feedback surveys and a 20% increase in the output of these 2 teams. Our delivery teams and engineering teams are key, and we have to have top leadership in those areas. Something like that. So investing in people, specific ask, tangible outcome. Example 2 would be a sales organization and maybe one part of a sales organization that needs some attention. Let's say the Southwest region of sales has had 3 leaders in the last 6 months. There's churn like crazy, morale is low. And as chief of staff, you're looking across the entire organization and you're like, oh my goodness, this team needs some attention. And you've also done some research and thought about some options, and you think that an offsite would really help this team. So the recommendation to your CEO, to your principal, would be a $20,000 investment for a 2-day offsite for all of the reps in the Southwest region. And the first day, we're going to bring in a keynote speaker, get them motivated, get them jazzed up, rah, 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 ready to go. And the second day is going to be a hands-on workshop. And a lot of our new hires have kind of fallen through the cracks in terms of training. So some of them haven't gotten like the overview of our product suite or how we position things or the talk track or the talk off for competitors. So we want to make sure everyone has a unified sales approach with that second day hands-on workshop. And with this investment, we expect a 10% increase in sales from the Southwest region. Okay. And with sales, it's pretty easy, right? Like it's numbers. It's like, you give me this and I will output this for you. So that could be a pretty straight line. A couple other notes in these categories. If you can tie the outcome to an overall company objective, that's even better. So if you can say something like, and this directly ties to our annual goal of $10 million in revenue. You're literally connecting the dots for someone like boom, 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 please sign here. The other way to think about that is in terms of risk mitigation. So I have a chief of staff whose principal is a lawyer, and she is all about mitigating risk across the company. So when the chief of staff and I talk about things, we talk about them in terms of what risk can this mitigate and having the conversation teed up that way. So for instance, if in example 1, someone is balking at the investment for the executive coaching, it could be, look, it might sound like a lot of upfront investment, but if you think about it long term, we are preventing churn on that team. So if you think about those 4 key people leaving, well, that could easily result in $600,000 of recruiting and hiring and onboarding and training and replacing the people on their teams that have left because there's so much churn at the top. All of those types of things, we're mitigating that risk with this relatively small investment up front. So those types of things you can say. Oh, another thing here is if you do get more pushback, you can reduce the scope of the ask. So it might be instead of those 4 people getting executive coaching, it might be 2 people. Or you still might keep the 4 people, but have them get less coaching or fewer coaching sessions, something like that. In terms of the example too with the sales organization, it might be maybe one team within the Southwest region goes to the offsite, or maybe just the managers of the Southwest region. Or it could be, look, we're not going to do it offsite. We're going to do it on-site, but half day on-site with everyone. And they still get the hands-on workshop in the big conference room type of thing. So those are some things to think about. And as chief of staff, I would often get these requests. So I would be on the receiving end of these requests. And first of all, I would just praise people for bringing these things to my attention. Like, thank you so much for thinking about how to invest in your people, or like, thank you for being proactive and coming to me with a solution. And then here's the types of things that I'm thinking about. Here's the types of things I need to approve this. And for this specific thing that you're bringing up to me now, let's talk through these things. And then in the future, to have these things teed up, and I will just boom, boom, boom. If that looks good, if that makes sense, then I will definitely approve that type of thing. So if you're on the receiving end, then you can also talk to people about when these requests come in, I'm always going to ask you this, this, and this, so you can just be ready to go. All right. So I hope this is something helpful you can use to take nebulous concepts and ideas and tie them to a specific ask and a tangible outcome. Go forth, be a good chief of staff, be a great leader, and I will see you next time on Leveraging Leadership.
If you enjoyed today's episode, please like, share, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.